Um, it's hard to draw a definite, clear distinction between philanthropy and charitable giving or charity. But one of the key differences to my mind is probably that philanthropy has a sense of purpose underpinning it. So whereas charity might be about focusing on the act of giving and what that means for the donor, philanthropy is about what's actually achieved through that gift. And this is one of the big shifts that you see when you look at the history of philanthropy. The split between Protestantism and Catholicism that happened under Henry VIII following the Reformation meant that there was a slow but definite shift towards a new conception of giving, which was all about what was achieved in the world at the time and the impact on actual social problems, rather than the more medieval idea of alms giving, which was all about securing the donor's immortal soul. And as that idea took hold, philanthropists began to ask, okay, we've got a sense of purpose. How do we ensure that we're actually having an impact when it comes to addressing that purpose? And so the idea of philanthropy advice took hold surprisingly quickly. At first, this was very much about individual philanthropists, mostly men, it has to be said, who themselves had been successful in their philanthropy. They would offer advice to others on how to give effectively. Even Charles Dickens, a famous writer, made quite a good living as a philanthropy advisor because the work that he'd done as a young journalist in London, understanding the issues of poverty, which led to many of his most famous works like Oliver Twist and Bleak House, Great Expectations. He also acted on that by working with Angela Vedette Coutts, who was a big philanthropist at the time, and helped her to graduate from a fairly naive version of kind of Christian-driven charity to quite a sophisticated charity that was focused on trying to alleviate issues of poverty. As time went on, more information became available for philanthropists when it came to trying to understand social problems. So a big shift was in 1801 when the first census was taken. For the first time there was an actual picture of what society looked like, which gave a sense of not only kind of the demographics but also the size and shape of some of the social problems, which was hugely important for philanthropy. And a bit later than that, men like Charles Booth and Joseph Rowntree did pioneering social research work looking at the underlying causes of poverty and provided a lot more grist to the mill for philanthropists who were trying to address those issues. And I think that combination of purpose and trying to use evidence to really understand the problems that you're addressing is the hallmark of really good philanthropy nowadays. Obviously, today's philanthropists have far greater range of data available to them, but the basic challenge is the same, and I think it kind of will continue into the future, how you harness information about the problems facing society and combine that with that burning sense of purpose to make sure you're having a real impact.